I built an ultimate search agent for myself. And you might think that how is it different from other search agents or search tools that the other LLMs have or other platforms have. Like I think ChatGPT has recently launched deep research or web search, or Claude has also web search, and I think almost all the platforms have now integrated web search in their platform. However, the question arises, what is different in my search agent which you do not get for free in platforms like this? Now, there are two things. First of all, the ability to search of my search agent, the ability of it to extract information from the web, it is highly greater than any of the other platforms you would find in the internet right now. And secondly, to productionize it is very easy. My chatbot, my search agent can be used in integration with any type of chatbot, any type of other AI agent, and it can work harmoniously with it. However, the ChatGPT or the Claude search pattern is only limited to its platform, and if you want to use it outside of the platform, you have to pay a very high price. And I'll not go into the details of the pricing, but I can surely tell you that these two things, the price effectiveness outside the platform, and secondly the ability of it to do deep research and touch various touch points, is highly appreciated in a search agent which can be integrated anywhere. So without any further ado, let us get to it. Now, how this search agent really works is that if you can see on the screen, I have n8n open right here. I built it on n8n, and if you can see, what happens is actually the AI agent which I am talking about is this one. Only this is the whole AI agent. However, it is integrated for a particular function in this workflow. How is that? Is that it is a research agent for ads, and what it does is that it, for a digital marketing agency, what they do is a digital marketing agency goes to its clients and fetches, they ask a questionnaire about what the client's needs is and how they are presently running their operations and they get to know about the client. After getting the whole questionnaire or the whole information about the client, they feed it in the Google Docs, and after that they build an ad or something like that for that particular client, right? This is how the digital marketing agency works. However, to make that pattern more optimized, this is one of the steps which we can help, which I have made this agent to help the digital marketing agency. How is that? Is that, for example, the digital marketing agency collects the information from the client and then posts that information in a Google Docs file. After that, what it does is, if we enter a chat message like I want to get ad ideas, or I want to get ad information for a particular company, for a particular service or product. So for example, for Lenskart, I need to know about some digital marketing agency for Lenskart. So the digital marketing agency person has to know about how the specs are structured and how he can make good ads for the specs in Lenskart company, right, which makes specs. So he will input that, give me ad information for Lenskart specs, so company name and the product, right? After inputting that, extracts the company name and then searches in its Google Drive or Google Docs file, where he can find a questionnaire which the digital marketing agency has asked its clients. So it will get that whole information, the whole questionnaire, and then it will activate this AI agent. Now, what the role of this AI agent is, the search agent in this particular scenario, is that it provides ad information, how ads can be nicely structured for a digital marketing agency, and it helps the digital marketing agency ad makers to decide what information they should add in their ads. I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but you'll see in just a bit that. Let me just share with you an example how I made it. So for example, a chat message it receives is that I need to boost sales for a Javed Habib facial and skincare routine service by making ads for them. Suggest me relevant information for which I can make ads. So this was the chat input which I provided it via chat message. After that, this information extractor works to extract only the company name from the whole message, and after extracting the whole company name, you can see that it extracted Javed Habib from the whole thing. And after that, it searches in this Google Drive. In this Google Drive, it searches for file or folder from the name Javed Habib. Of course, when you make a questionnaire and upload it answer, upload the answer to the questionnaire to a Google Docs file, you'll write the name right in the title, that Javed Habib questionnaire answer. So this is from the end of the digital marketing agency side. So try to think according to them. So when you search the file, what it inputs is, it inputs the name of the Javed Habib, the company, and it outputs the ID, the file ID, and the name of the file ID. After that, this Google Drive extracts the whole file in a binary file, and from the file ID which it inputted in the last node. After which, this is a vector data store that exists in N8N itself. And what this vector data store does is, it stores the whole file which was outputted by this Google Drive in specific chunks. And I have talked about it various times in my previous videos, that what this vector data store simply does, it converts the whole text into several small bits of text and stores it in itself. After that, when the AI agent needs the information, it sends only some bits of the information, so that the AI agent memory does not fill up and it does not have to send the whole document for it to answer for. So now what the error I was facing is that this simple vector data store was outputting 16 items. So it was dividing the whole document into 16 pieces, and I cannot run this AI agent 16 times. So what I did was, from this aggregate node, I compiled the whole items in one item. I do not need it to function, but I need it to work in a timeline manner. So I first needed to prepare a vector database and then run the AI agent. So what this AI agent does is, if you can see, this is the main research agent. And what this research agent does is, I have provided it a very nice system message, which basically tells it to search on 4 different levels, right? So the first level which it searches on is search company. So first it will search about, if you can see here, it searches the Google from the SerpAPI API key, does not matter. It searches the Google about the company and what the whole company is about. So in this example, we have taken Javed Habib, right? So it searches the Google and gets information like this. So Javed Habib is one of India's largest and most renowned hair and beauty salon chain with a legacy spanning 3 generations. So this was the response we got. It is a very brief response, and it can of course generate various articles according to it, but it provides a very brief response, so that the AI agent has an idea that, okay, what it needs to structure its answer about. After that, what I have coded it to do is that it searches for the service. So for example, I inputted that I need to make an ad for facial in Javed Habib, right? So it searches that what is facial all about from the Wikipedia node. And if you can see, the information which I provided is search service or product, and it has to use this tool to get a detailed information about the product or service, so that when it is structuring what ad information it should write, it knows that, okay, this is what the product or the service is about. So it has a general information, right? I have also inputted that what this tool is actually meaning to it. So this tool does not have a relation with the company. It does not have a relation with the company. It is just searching about the facial and how it is done. After that, what it needs to do is, it needs to search the service or the product in that particular company. So first what it did was, it searched the company, that okay, what is the whole company about. Second, it searched about the service or the product, that okay, what the product or service is about. And thirdly, it searches about that service or product in that particular company which we have inputted. So in this example, it searches about facial in Javed Habib. So the query which it passes on to its tool is that it passes on service, which is the facial, in Javed Habib, which is the company. So if you can see, it uses this HTTP to connect to a Tavily web search, again a web search platform. And what it outputted was, you can see that the content was this whole thing. So facial are essential part of skincare routine, and what the Javed website contained about everything. So if you can see, the title and the URL was that it was Javed Habib Lucknow in.in/box/facial. So it actually searched in that particular website of Javed Habib. So this content which it has is the present scenario of what facial in Javed Habib is about. So it knows what's the product in that particular company about, and it also has information that okay, what the whole product or service is about, right? So it knows the backstory, and it knows how the company is actually making that service or actually delivering that product, right? So this way it has background information also and the present information as well. After that what it does is that it goes to this tool. This is the company questionnaire, which the vector database which we just talked about. This was it. So this 18 items which is inputted is inside this vector data store, and when it, for example, I have searched about facial, so all the things that it needs to get in order to write and add information about facials in Javed Habib, it searches from this vector data store. And when it searches from this vector data store, you can see it outputs one item, and it has several chunks of code. It has 10 chunks of code, and this chunks of code is being inputted to this AI agent. So it gets information from 4 different sources, right? So it gets from this search company, search service or product inside company, search service or product to know about the background information, and after that, after all this, it searches this vector data store, which is the questionnaire which the digital marketing agency has asked the client, the company, for example, in this case Javed Habib. This is a sample, of course, it is not true. This is a sample which I took from ChatGPT. And after it has asked that information, it knows what is the preferences of the clients, right? So this way it then outputs the whole output. So if you can see clearly, this output is the whole thing in a markdown format, and it outputs the whole thing that this is the ad information, ad advisor summary. If you can see here, it shows the ad advisor summary. And what the great thing about this is that you don't need to just use it straight away. You can input it in a whole larger workflow. For example, let me just share it to you in this context only. This is making an ad summary, right? What the ad needs to contain, the information that the ad needs to contain or portray in order for the ad to be more effective. It can be used by another AI agent to generate ad ideas or ad designs, so that it uses this information which is outputted, it inputs that information in its prompt and then generates ad ideas. So it is using this AI agent as a tool, right? So this, of course, apart from this, there can be many infinite uses of this type of research agent in various scenarios, in various business plans and various scenarios. And you can see that it has production value. It has a particular value which it can provide. So in this case, digital marketing agency owners, it can provide value to them because they do not need a human to search for various other sources and get information about the clients and about the client services or the ad details. Nothing. It just needs to input that give me ad details about a particular service or a product in a particular company, and then it outputs that information. Simple as that. So this was it for today's video. I hope you found the content valuable. If you did, and if you want to get connected to me, please email me on shivansh.anand0110@gmail.com, and also drop off a comment for any valuable feedbacks. Thank you and have a wealthy life ahead.